Hey, what's up guys, it's TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. It's preview day for the event Harbinger of Agony, and this week's heroes have a little bit of a twist in their battle skills, which we'll go over, but I also want to talk through changes for the upcoming Commander event. Basically, you can expect that the trophies will continue to be split between solo and guild bosses, and that challenge missions will be the same format as last event. Based on the number of changes made, you can see that the challenge missions really wasn't received very well. I think some good changes are the ability to use multiple types for all missions. You can now loot them, and you'll now have a way to clearly track the last challenge mission you've completed. The other changes they made are regarding secret bosses. I personally really dislike the way secret bosses were done last event. There was no way to predict when the boss would appear, so it was always a frantic rush to try and get everyone together to hit the boss. This time, they made it so that the bosses would appear after collecting a number of tokens, which is a step in the right direction, I think, but I would have liked even more control than that. I personally think that a summoning mechanism would have worked much better for coordination, but at least with this change, you can anticipate when the boss would appear. And interestingly, they're already introducing a second type of secret boss, but there aren't as much detail about it. I hope it spawns the same way as the first type of secret boss, so again, it can be coordinated better. What are your thoughts about the changes here? I didn't get a chance to talk about it in the last event, and so I think it would be good for you to give some feedback on what you think the changes are. Do you think this is going in the right direction, and what would you like to see differently? As for the cards this event, the main event card, Masao, basically has the same skills as all other event cards we've seen so far. At 6 stars, it creates 4 Power Gem 1s and will increase the self attack by up to 100%. It's important to note that it does not mean you're going to deal double the amount of damage. It actually would only increase it by about 30% or so, because in Commander events, attack boost is calculated before multipliers are in effect, so you won't actually increase your damage too much. So don't be surprised when the damage that you see doesn't actually increase by double. The Master Collection hero Sky Swarm Kachina doesn't have any intensity requirements this time, which is nice, and it creates 4 Power Gem 4s, and it's useful in powering up the Giant stack, and it also has a new skill that generates 2 more Power Gem 4s every time you activate a skill that increases the enemy's turn. So that makes this card a lot more interesting. It's similar to the interaction of the Light Human team, where each time the Goblin skills are triggered, the Master Collection card and the Ultra Rare card would mimic it. Except in this case, it only lasts for 1 turn after activating the battle skill, and there is a 5-turn cooldown. This is where having multiple copies of the Master Collection card would be ideal, but even with just one, it would be a good card to have. The support card, Kokopelli, is a good gem spawner and healer. It creates 8 gems instead of the typical 6 that we've seen so far, and it also heals for 5000% of heal recovery. So it's a seer type, which used to be healer types. And those cards typically have better recovery, so you can see that it has a higher recovery stat than any other card types like Warrior, and that's why it makes this card a good healer, except it has a ridiculously long cooldown for a heal card with 6 turns. I personally don't like cards with such long cooldowns, so this is not my favorite card in the game. Finally, the ultra rare card, Kokopelli Fate Denier. It's the card that's going to create power gems as well as delay the enemy, which then powers up the Master Collection card. So here's my thought on this. At first, I thought that this was kind of a bad idea that a Master Collection card is dependent on the Ultra Rare card, which makes the deck much more expensive. But then again, the Master Collection card would work with any card that delays, so the Ultra Rare card is not a requirement, although it would be the most powerful combination. If you do the math, the most optimal combination if you were going for the deck would be 3 Master Collection cards and 2 Ultra Rares. That will give you a total of 28 power gems when you activate all of the battle skills. Having 2 Master Collection cards and 3 Ultra Rares, or 4 Master Collection cards and a single Ultra Rare, both will net you 26 power gems. But to me, it's not really worth the cost of chasing after the card that's going to potentially cost you over $100 in gems. Like, as an ultra rare card, this just isn't worth it for me, and especially since there are alternatives. So again, if you're looking for the full combination, 3 Master Collection cards with 2 ultra rares would be the ideal way to go, but I will be talking about other ideas in which we can actually take advantage of this ability of the Master Collection card and deal more damage. In other news, have you noticed that you can now get the Mummy as a collection hero? Finally, for the first time, we're able to get an intensity-based ultra rare card as a collection hero that's actually useful for the team. This is where the new meta actually comes in handy, since you can power up Mummy's attack and also use her battle skill to then support and boost your overall team attack. So if you don't have any Earth Power Gen spawners, this would be the perfect card for you to use. So that's all for today's episode. Thanks a lot for watching. I would love to hear more feedback from you about the previous event and also the upcoming event, what your thoughts about it are. And I'm going to, talk about some deck ideas in the next episode. So I'll see you then. Take care.